Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you again. And I'm very excited to be sharing these meetings with everyone on YouTube. I decided to make all of this content free. So the Yin Yang integration classes and the I Speak Plant classes will all be on YouTube now for anyone to watch. And the yin yang integration uh, classes are about spirituality. They're about things that I have discovered, experienced. Some things are through mentors, and some things are through the Stargate experience. I can put some links down below for you if you want to check out um, my mentors, who I consider to be my mentors, and also the Stargate Experience link. So the Yin Yang integration classes are, like I said, about my continuing journey with spirituality, my spiritual journey, and also about balancing the masculine and the feminine energies within each of us. And this is so important right now, because we've lived under a system um, that has not been so balanced. And it's people have called it different things, patriarchal energy or male ego energy. And that has nothing to do with whether you're a man or a woman. It has to do with the energy that we have created on this planet. And I feel that we decided as souls to dip deep into this energy and experience it, um, for God, the cosmos, the universe, spirit, whatever term you like to use, um, for that powerful force. And yeah, humans went deep down into darkness, if you want to call it that, to experience. I feel like diving deep into the darkness has created uh, humans to be very well rounded. We're experienced now, and we are ready to create something new. And I feel that that new is just an amazing expansion of consciousness and diving deep into the light now. So I'm really excited to have you with me on this journey that all of humanity is going through. And I feel that our whole universe is experiencing as well. As we experience, so does the rest of the universe and its beings. Um, so whatever beings you believe in. I've met my angelic aspects, my nature spirit aspects, my elemental aspects, my galactic aspects, um, and my higher self or soul, God, source, part of me, whatever you want to call that too. People have different names of it for it. Um, is coming online more and more. And it's very exciting. There's like these, well, it's very much like a roller coaster, and up and down and around and twisting and turning, because there are these moments of bliss and happiness and feeling like you've accomplished something. And then, you know, Like the next day, you can be deep down in the darkness and sad and, crying or getting angry or whatever it is we humans do. And that's all part of the process. And it's all a beautiful process if we can see it like that. Um, we experience, some people call them symptoms, ascension symptoms. I like to call them upgrades, as one of my mentors calls them. And you can get really, really cold, or you can heat up and sweat, uh, which I call expansion. Um, you can have great inspiration all of a sudden that seems to come out of nowhere. You can have very vivid dreams. You can have your reality in front of your physical eyes shift so that you wonder if what happened actually did happen, or if you actually did see that shift so quickly. You may notice changes in other people that, you've always had friction with, and suddenly they change, they become more compassionate, more kind. And that's all based on your inner world and how much you've expanded into the light. So it's quite a wild ride, and I'm glad that you're here with me as the one that we all are, with God, Spirit, the universe. So let's just dive in. What I'm going to do, I've got a presentation here. So I'm just going to put that up, and I'll get kind of small in the corner, and we'll focus on the presentation here. So I just want to make sure, just a second here, that everything is going as it should. I haven't done this for a while. Oh my goodness. Okay. Just trying to minimize myself here. Okay. Well, I know we're recording, so that's good. I guess you won't see me. You'll just see the presentation. So, my first slide here, the title of this little talk is it hormones or lack of awareness? So, within Ascension, we also, we're either male or female. Um, and, we also have hormones as physical human beings. We have chemicals in our body that, um, help us express a particular sex, um, male or female. Um, there is another sex that some of you may not be aware of, and it's most interesting. It's called intersex. And these humans, they may look like one sex, and either their internal reproductive organs or their external, genitalia do not match to be one sex. So I just want to make that clear, because I'm just speaking biologically here today. So when I'm not speaking of choices or um, moving into like the queer world. I'm just talking biologically here today. So I just want people to understand that there is male, female, and intersex as a normal process of coming onto the earth and having one of those three um, expressions of sex. So when well, let's go back here. 2012, um, I noticed a shift in the energy. Things in my life started collapsing, and people in my immediate family, my birth family, started to get sick and pass away. And it, like, I felt very stressed by this. And I didn't understand what was happening. And it's really funny because like quite a few years before this, my husband and I had been in a fabric store with our kids, and they also sold other home decor things. And there was like a blanket that you would put on a couch or a chair. And I was just so drawn to it, and I didn't really know what it was. And years later, I discovered that it's the Mayan calendar. And 2012 was the end of that cycle of that calendar. A lot of people said it was going to be the end of the world, but it's just the end of a cycle for humanity. And now we're in a new cycle. So it really was 2012 when everything started shifting with me a lot. And um, there were so many things that happened. And then COVID also happened. And we ended up bringing my mom home to live with us and our son. And there were a lot of interesting experiences we had during that time. And through all of this, I I thought I was getting sick, and I thought it was perimenopause. And I mean, in a dimension, it is perimenopause, right? Our body does go through changes, and while we're leading up to menopause, and I was exhausted, and I had so many symptoms, put that in quotes, air quotes. And I just didn't understand it. And I went to my doctors and they checked everything. They checked my heart. I did a heart stress test because I was getting so many poundings in my chest flutters, tightness, feelings of anxiety, um, hot and cold feelings in my body, sweating. And I ended up going to a clinic in the US, and I think that was very beneficial because um, I did some things that help detox metabolic waste and maybe some other things like parasites. Yes, there were definitely parasites, truth be told. And also, um, oh, what else? There was, can't think of it, but anyway, it'll come to me. Oh, perhaps heavy metals, those kinds of things. So the treatments that I went through, which I won't go through today, um, they really helped a lot. And the doctor, it was a hormone clinic, and he did put me on estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Because yes, women have testosterone too. My grandma was put on it. That was the only hormone she was put on. And my mom and my grandma were really great models for entering the stage of like going through perimenopause and into menopause because like it really wasn't a huge thing for them. And I realized that women's health has not been studied very much. We're beginning to study women. It was always men, sometimes children, many animals that were tested um, through our modern scientific era. And yeah, like my mom took it in stride and she was quite like giggly about it and happy. Like there was a happiness. My mom had gone through periods of depression as I was growing up. And so it was wonderful to see her go through this shift where she wasn't experiencing that anymore. And and she was really changing. Now, I feel that through her depression, she was releasing a lot of ancestral darkness or energy. And looking back on it, she did an amazing job of that to pave the way forward for me and my children and my grandchildren. So I really appreciate that. And I always call my mom an embodied fairy. Um, she was she was very ethereal and creative and just one with nature, I would say. So that was my experience from my ancestors about changing hormones. And that was really beneficial for me because I already had that awareness that things could be smooth. It could be a smooth transition into um, more um, like not just happiness, but contentment, I guess. Contentment and self-confidence and wisdom. So I I always held that in my field and knew that I would come through things just fine. And I ended up in 2021, I met one of my mentors through pictures of the sky. I was noticing that the sky was really changing, and there were beautiful auras around the sun and rainbow colors in the sky. And so I really went through a spiritual awakening that was quite beautiful. And I began to just feel quite, oh, I was also put on um, thyroid medication. And I started feeling like jittery and really anxious and shaky. And I realized because the doctor that I had gone to see was very wise, and he said, my patients begin to titrate their own thyroid medication. So I thought, well, I'm getting way too much medication. So I cut it back a little bit, and I was having appointments with him over the phone because he's in LA, Los Angeles, and I'm in Saskatoon, Canada. So our appointments were mostly over the phone after my initial treatments. And then, like, I just noticed that it was like too much estrogen. I kept getting yeast infections, and I was like, yeah, this is too much estrogen. So my intuition really kicked in, and then like I basically wasn't taking anything that he had given me in terms of pharmaceuticals. So I thought, well, this is really interesting. And and then I met my mentor, and he had also diagnosed Lyme disease in me. I had some markers for Lyme. It wasn't conclusive, as it often isn't. And as the years progressed, I came into this sense of embodying a completely new consciousness and moving up through dimensions and seeing galactics in my third eye just before I was going to sleep at night and channeling what was occurring on Earth and in the cosmos, that humans are moving through levels of consciousness and that our planet was changing, our sun is changing. And I would tell my husband about this every night before going to sleep. And then I thought, well, there are different dimensions. And in a dimension, it's very physical and dense, like the one we normally experience. We also have other dimensions. There's the dream dimension. There's a runner's high dimension. There's, states of bliss. There's meditation dimension. You can go into different states of consciousness there. And then I started to see the dimensions as flowing together. And it's really dependent on our consciousness, which one we're in. So, all of that story to tell you that yes, it is hormones and it's also consciousness, so that when we become more conscious, we understand that these symptoms that we're experiencing are actually loving up and leveling up our consciousness. Um, and women have, I feel, a little more, um, uh, oh, what's the word I'm thinking of? We have a little bit of an edge over men. Not the word I wanted to use. It'll come to me. Advantage, that's the word I wanted to use. Um, because we do come in with more of an intuitive side. And when we go through menopause, we do ascend our consciousness and become wiser. Now, it's not to say that men don't experience something similar. It's just that the way we were created, we are more intuitive generally. And um, we are a channel to bring souls from one dimension when we have a baby onto the earth plane, which is another dimension. So we have a little bit of an advantage because we go through different experiences like that. So all this on this slide to say, um, just consider that if you are going through perimenopause right now, you are entering a new dimension of consciousness, because dimensions are consciousness, their awareness, and it's leading to something absolutely beautiful, and it may be uncomfortable, and that's just the way it is right now. Discomfort that we're feeling as the earth shifts, as our sun shifts, because it's all part of the one. And it's something to be grateful about, to celebrate. My guides really came in when I created this presentation. So, um, yeah, that what I said in the first slide was what I really wanted to say. They came in with all of these other things. So I also created slides and just kind of went with it. They were pretty much guiding me the whole way when I created these slides. So they wanted me to let you know that if you are experiencing a change in hormones, a change in awareness, that balanced nutrition, exercise, and a lot of rest are really, really important too. Um, so, it could be your health, or it could be just ascension of not just ascension of consciousness, but ascension of consciousness, um, and both at the same time because the dimensions flow parallel. Um, so they just wanted to remind us that these are important things when we're going through these shifts. And I put the little coffee with the heart and this beautiful chocolate cake here, yummy, delicious chocolate cake, because we need to have treats sometimes. uh, it's really great for our human. It can uplift us if it's in moderation. And this is something that I always really considered when to see a doctor or if I should see a doctor at certain times. And I told you my doctor experience. So my answer is definitely yes. Get things checked out if you're really feeling like things are not normal. Um, and there's an and to that statement. So it's not just about the physical. The dimensions are also about ethereal and feelings and all kinds of other things, right? So these are just some statements that I wrote down as my guides brought them into my field. So if you're experiencing uncomfortable sensations, close your eyes, listen to your heart. What is your heart telling you? Are you in a relationship that's not serving you? Do you need to leave that relationship? Do you have family members, relationships with them that aren't serving you? Can you cut ties? Um, so that's just one example. It could be a job and our physical body and our ethereal body, all of our fields that we have. Um, they're all there for information. They're all there to benefit us. And the heart is a big energetic center that helps us with our intuition and our telepathy and just helps us to realize what's really going on inside of us and what we need to do, what we've been doing for far too long that we need to shift. Are there feelings that you're ignoring? Are you afraid you don't have the money to try something new if it's something new, if it's in cutting off ties to people or a new relationship or a new job, whatever it is, a new hobby, a business venture, the fear of having enough to do what you need to do is a biggie for humans. And I know a lot of people who have followed their dream and they they will work a job and eventually they'll be helping to support their passion, or things just fall into place. And once they decide to choose themselves and choose the passion, then everything falls into place for their new passion. So I know money is a big thing for humans, and we are experiencing a shift from not having enough money or a lack mentality to an abundance mentality. And we're still going through that. And I feel like the universe provides whatever we need. So if we're making decisions based on our ego, then the universe is not going to match that vibration and provide us what we need. Um, but if it's coming from the heart, and it's a passion, then the universe will provide for us. I know that's a biggie. I'm still working on that one. Do I engage in true self-care? Because like we can say that, oh, well, I shower every other day, so, I'm doing self-care, which is self-care. It really is. Um, but it's also loving ourselves, like not judging our own physical self, not judging the decisions we make, but being the observer and truly caring for ourselves, loving ourselves, talking to our body, telling, you know, our hair, our face, any part of our body that we love it and it serves us so well and that we're going to look after it to the best of our ability and to do so, like to follow through as best we can. So that's what I consider true self-care. Do I hold fears? Am I aware of the fears that I hold? Close your eyes. Just if you're feeling fearful, like where is that coming from? And I'm not going to answer that for you. Something you'll have to work on. Find a mentor. I recommend it. Bring a mentor into your field. Is there something I've always wanted to try and I haven't? Am I ignoring that little voice that keeps making suggestions just because I'm trying to be practical or have, enough money, go to that job because I've been told by my family and society that that's what I need to do? But listen to that little voice because that spirit, like urging you to do something that will make everything better, or some things better at least. And am I loving what I do now? Is my life, you know, the way I pictured it? So those are just some questions to ask yourself. So, I mean, we experience these feelings, feelings of guilt and feelings of freedom. And we've run on a program of guilt and shame and blame and victimhood and lack for a very long time as humans. And we are shifting that energy right now. So when you think about certain things, what feeling comes up? Do you not feel good about it, or do you feel good about it? So these are just little questions, my guys, wanted you to keep asking yourself. Are you being authentic in your life? Like, are you doing what you really love to do? Um, are you the person that you really want to be? Are you using the words, the language that is that life, that highest timeline that you picture yourself in? If you even picture your highest timeline at all, that's something else that you can work on by just sitting quietly sometimes or waiting for that inspiration to come. Doing some things that you really enjoy, creating some things you really love to create so that you can move into that highest timeline because that's the energy we need to embody to move to that highest timeline. And all the timelines are occurring simultaneously. We just have to shift our vibration to move to that timeline. It's right there. And where is my energy leading me? This is a biggie for me that's come through recently as um, an activation of my consciousness. I've really started to notice the energy I'm holding, and I realize that the energy I'm holding is the only thing that creates what's in front of my eyes and what I experience in my life. Whether that's abundance, whether that's magic happening where I find all kinds of mushrooms which I love, or butterflies. I love nature. Beautiful sunsets, rainbows, all the good stuff. Great meals, vacations to beautiful places. It's really just my energy that leads me to those things, and I get to experience them. So, checking the energy that we hold inside. And I mean, if you haven't gone along that spiritual path for very long, um, you could just call it feelings. Like, what am I feeling inside? And whatever you're feeling inside will lead you, that energy of that feeling inside will lead you. So you might be at the point where you want to say, well, how do I shift that? Because I'm carrying a lot of anger, right? So I have found that nature and becoming an herbalist have really helped with that because in the herbal world, we discuss constitutions, and anger is a hot constitution. We've got the energetics of herbalism, hot and dry, or damp and cold. So I find that is really helpful. But I mean, there's other ways to do this, right? Like people do all kinds of things, Pilates, yoga, um, meditation, walks in nature. Um, it's just to quiet the mind so that you can um, notice what energy you're holding, because that is what creates our reality. So, my guides also wanted me to delve into how to be a masterful creator. We already are, and we do this with whatever energy we are holding inside in any moment. So, the first thing is to notice the energy, and then there's next steps that we can do with that. If we start to notice the energy that we're holding, and we know that's not so beneficial for us, like anger or lack or shame or guilt or whatever, that's of a denser nature, then we start to understand how to shift that energy. So whether that's listening to beautiful music that you love, I like to play binaural beats. If I'm not sleeping, I listen to Stargate meditations. I go for nature walks. I work in my garden. I make my herbals. I formulate skincare. So I know how to shift that energy inside of me. You might have to find what helps you shift that energy, but that's one of the first steps. So it's all about the inner world, right? Creating is all about the inner world. And this is something that I really had to delve deep inside myself for. The second one, does anyone or anything really exist outside of me? And I've come to the point now where I realize that everything exists inside of me, and what I see on the outside, I've created. So that's a real biggie too. And another big one is, can I be a neutral observer when my eyes are open? So, eyes closed, we focus on our own energy and how that is leading us and how we can shift it. And then when we have our eyes open and we're experiencing all our creations that we can see and we can participate in, can we be that neutral observer? Because then we realize what we've created. And then we can shift what we've created if it's not so beneficial for us and it's not on our highest timeline. And another question my guides asked me to ask you is, how did I get to where I am now? So think about your life right now and just sit in that creation, probably with your eyes closed is best. And all the feelings that come up in your present reality. And, you can think about your ancestral line, you can think about the beliefs that you were told to believe in, the way society is structured, like whatever it is that got you to this point, the decisions you made, the people you met. So that's a meditative practice. Um, and the other question is, do I remember influencing an outcome with my feelings or energy? So if you can be a neutral observer and you can be peaceful inside, that generally shifts your outside reality that you can see and experience. So think about a time when you were not in a beneficial energy from within, and think about a time when you were. So that's also how we can be conscious of creating. And here's what I love. The yin yang balance, the male and female aspects inside each of us. Um, so we do create through balance. Coming to a state of balance is the best way that we create. And we are made up of masculine and feminine characteristics. The universe is made up of masculine and feminine electro and magnetic energy. That is how the universe is powered. And you can ask the scientists about that, especially the quantum physics or physics, quantum physics, yeah, scientists. So, just as a quick reminder, the masculine is thought, action, and structure, simply put, and the feminine is inspiration, flow, and space. And we have both of those. And it's knowing when to apply each of those, um, and when they're most appropriate to apply, that brings balance. So I create through balancing my masculine and feminine aspects. You can use that as a mantra if you want. All right, so here comes the fun stuff. Practicing creating. So to do this, you can sit quietly for a few minutes, eyes closed. Listen to your inner promptings. And is there something that you're desiring? How much do I desire to create it? Ask your universe, God, spirit, your guides, your ancestors, your angels, ascended masters for their assistance in your creation. Then observe clues or little tidbits, little messages that your universe is bringing into your environment. So, I got a couple examples that are recent for me and my husband. Um, I was, well, I'm going down to the US to renew my passport soon. And my husband and I were deciding where in the US to go. So first, I wanted to go see my Lemurian sisterhood. I'm part of a group of ladies, and we work on our consciousness. And they were going to be meeting in Mount Shasta in September. And I really, really, really wanted to do this. And then my husband and I talked, and he didn't want to go that far. And I really wanted to travel with him this time. We've traveled separately, but it just felt right to travel together this time. So then he said he wanted to go to Seattle. And we researched Seattle, and like I just wasn't feeling it. at least not for now. And then I said, oh, and our son lives like far south of us in the same province, but he lives 4 or 5 hours south of us. And he kept wanting to come and visit us, but there was just always something, and work was just, they needed him, so he wasn't able to come and see us. So I said, well, why don't we go to North Dakota? Then we could go see our son, have a little visit with him, and also renew my passport. And it would be a quick trip. And my husband's retiring at the end of March next year. So we thought, oh, well, we could do this little trip, and then maybe we could do a bigger trip next year. And that seemed to sit quite well, actually. And then I was driving um, to do errands the other day, and there's a long line of cars on this one street that are in the right-hand lane. And then it's a busy commercial street, and people need to get into that lane. So often, you know, the only way they can get in is if someone lets them go, if they stop and let the person come out of the drive of where the store is. So I stopped for this one car, and lo and behold, the license plate was North Dakota. And I have never seen a North Dakota license plate in my life in Saskatchewan, which is amazing because it's right next door to us. So I was like, oh, thank you, universe. We made the right decision going to North Dakota, and it just felt so, so good. And then my husband had a story the other day where we've been working on our backyard, and he saved a space for a deck, and it's an unusual shape. It's kind of a triangle. And so he was going to get used wood. So he was looking on Facebook Marketplace for someone selling used wood. But lo and behold, he found a deck that looked approximately the same shape. It was part of a deck, actually, that someone wanted to remove. So he went and he measured it, and guess what? It was exactly the right size for his space, already put together. So he did take parts and pieces apart and brought it back to our place and put the parts and pieces down. But it is absolutely amazing. So he's a great creator. And pay attention to the feelings you hold when you receive these little clues. Are they leading you toward the thing or away from the thing? All right, so this is a little exercise I have for you. So you can pick an animal or plant of your choice, or whatever object you want to pick. You could pick some make of car or something that you love in a certain color. And you can count how many times you see that animal or plant, or if you see it at all in a certain time period. So you can, give yourself a week or 2 weeks or a month. If you feel like you're really new at this creation, you might want to give yourself a month, right? And then notice how you feel if you do or don't see what you've intended to see, or if you see your creation many, many times. So notice the feelings if you do or don't see, and how many times you see. So that will give you a clue as to how you're creating, how well you're creating. And I love that little test because it's just a little beginner's exercise when we're still getting used to feeling what energy we're holding inside, what frequency, vibration to create things that are beneficial to us. So this is just something that you can do while you're practicing. And how do you feel when you create? Notice how you feel physically when you create successfully. Notice your energy when you don't feel you are creating the reality you desire. Do you feel physically balanced when you create something? So these are all questions for you to ask yourself that are really important questions about how you're creating and how you're feeling. And back to those hormones, we will probably, most certainly, feel uncomfortable when we are becoming more aware, ascending our consciousness, and we'll feel it physically. We have things that we have dense energy that we need to release, especially now. Many, many people are releasing that old, dense energy that is not needed anymore because that experiment is over. Humanity is moving forward at a rapid pace. And as more and more of us are awakening to the fact that we are masterful creators, it gets a little bit easier for all of us. But if you're in the soup and the stew of dense energy, embrace it, celebrate, because that means that you are doing the work that is absolutely necessary for your human right now. And your soul is leading, God, spirit, universe is helping us. We are doing this together. We are not alone in this. We are so not alone. And as you become aware that you're a masterful creator and begin to create more masterfully, you develop compassion for others that are going through this too. So I think that's really beautiful. And there's, after you've released a lot of dense energy, rest. And then we'll keep going through it. We'll keep feeling a little bit uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable. And then there'll be a release. And then we'll feel some more freedom. We'll feel more creative. We'll feel more energetic. And I really like to treat myself as I'm going through this. So I do, I actually gave up sugar for a couple months because I was going through a lot of pain in the spring. And it it was good that I went through that because it really helped me become more aware, not eating so much sugar. I still don't eat as much sugar and I don't crave it as much. And it's just more balanced because we're all moving toward balance, right? So, but do treat yourself. Doesn't have to be food. It can be a walk in nature if that's your treat. Whatever your little treat is, one glass of wine or whatever. Like, do treat yourself sometimes. Something creative that you really like to engage in. Make that time to treat yourself. Do some self-care. So it has been absolutely lovely to be a part of your experiencing today. And I wish you just all the love. Here, I'm going to put myself back up here. And yeah, have an awesome day, guys. We've got this.